I have an obsession with movement in games. You could make the worst game ever made, but if the movement was fun, I'd play it. That is what Echo Point Nova is, but without the worst game ever made part. It's a good game. In fact, I'd go as far as to say it may be one of the most enjoyable games I've played in a while. Echo Point Nova, a title that doesn't exactly describe the experience on offer. It's an unassuming game, outside of its 99% positive reviews on Steam. You may run across it and not think on it any further, but I assure you, Echo Point Nova is one of the most fun games out there, and that's clearly the design philosophy here. Fun. You could draw a myriad of comparisons here, and most all of them would be right. Open world Titanfall? Yep. A mix of Pro Skater and Minecraft Skyblock? Pretty much. Doom in a platforming collectathon? Absolutely. It's all of those and nothing more, but that's actually a good thing here. Echo Point isn't a game that's trying to be something that it's not. You're not here for the story. You're not here for the world building. You're here for this. Fluid, responsive, precise, fun. All words to describe the movement here. Within the first 10 minutes of the game, you'll have everything you need. Double jump, grappling hook, and hoverboard. It's the peanut butter, jelly, and bread of the game. With only 3 gadgets, you're able to get just about anywhere, and over the course of the game, each one will be upgraded, making your ability to get around that much better. There's not much to Echo Point Nova, and you might think that's a bad thing, but on the contrary, it's quite nice for a game to know what it wants to do and simply deliver on it without needlessly bloating the experience. Echo Point can be broken down into 3 parts: secret hunting, movement, and shooting. The main goal is to go around each island and complete their scans. You walk up, push a button, and defeat the enemies using the various tools at your disposal. Sure, you could just walk around and shoot every enemy as you would in any other game, but the real charm here is the freedom with how you approach combat. Grinding on walls, backflipping to snipe a quick headshot, and flying miles in the air and raining destruction down on the opposition. It's all possible, and it's up to you with how you want to go about it. That's all possible before you consider how each arena is built specifically to give a bit of uniqueness to the battles as well. Some have buildings to bounce around, some have giant trees and tree houses. Others have incredibly open layout, perfect for flying above everything like I mentioned a minute ago. After your scan is over and the enemies gone, you may be inclined to move on to the next island, but before you do, you may want to look around and listen. Echo Point Nova isn't just about the movement and the combat, it's also a collectathon, and a weirdly addictive one at that. Nowadays, when I open a map in games and it's just littered with stuff to do, I get a case of the Ubisoft. You know, where the map may be full of stuff to do, but not rewarding stuff. Busy work, lore notes, and other unimportant collectibles that are used to pad out the game. Well, I had that same feeling with Echo Point as I opened the map to find tons of icons filled with a ton of things to collect. But then you look closer and it's cool stuff, like useful stuff. Even things that are seemingly silly, like hats. Not a terrible collectible, but if you're not into cosmetics, you won't be interested in collecting hats, right? Well, wrong. They actually give you extra space for perks, too. The little green balls you can find, those give you more jumps, more grapples. Sometimes you'll find perks, which you can equip since you've been collecting all those hats. Perks range from quicker reload speeds to triple damage while you're flung in the air to causing enemies to explode in a pinata of health and ammo when killed with a melee ability. Generating ammo, increasing enemy density, bullet time, explosive jumps, explosive ground pounds, there's a lot of perks and you can do a lot with them. The stuff you can find actually gives you some tangible incentive to go after them. Plus the movement being what it is makes chasing after them actually fun. Plus, they're not hidden as to frustrate you, more so just give you a little challenge. Items and collectibles can be seen on the radar and be heard through a beeping noise. You'll know where they are, but sometimes you'll still need to think outside the box with how to actually get to them. There really is so much to this game, but at the same time, it doesn't feel like it. I never stepped away from the game feeling like I had wasted my time. The hours fly by, but so does the game. Why is that? I've been thinking about that the past few days, how I was able to 100% the game, but also do it so quickly, but also it wasn't that quick. It took me 8 hours, which is a decent amount of time, so what happened? After a few days of pondering, I believe I've come to a conclusion. Echo Point Nova has no fat. It's a lean game. The stuff that's here is fun. That's it. There's no filler content, there's no busy work, there's no boring stuff. It's just a good, well-made game that doesn't overstay its welcome. That's really uncommon these days. Games are made now to farm playtime, to keep you glued to the screen, to its screen, no matter what it takes. Boring missions that run far longer than they need to, wordy exposition at every turn, unskippable dialogue, needlessly long grinds. That's the stuff that keeps you on the game, the carrot on the stick. Echo Point Nova doesn't have any of that. It's just the good parts. It's not a terribly difficult game. It's not one you'll be banging your head against the wall trying to beat. It's just good, clean fun, and I like it because of that. It's not trying to be something that it's not. It's a game with incredible movement, solid gunplay, and rewarding collectibles. Done. That's all it is, but that's all it needs to be. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you. It really does help the channel. I cannot recommend Echo Point Nova enough. It is an incredibly well-made game and one that will scratch a Titanfall itch like no other. If you've played Echo Point Nova or are just now hearing about it, let me know. Until next time.